ladies and audience of Grace of Noates. Here we are again doing another podcast for our beautiful ladies everywhere in the world. So today we have the pleasure of interviewing Katie Holland. Katie Holland is a professional dancer. She's also a holistic therapist, and she's also the mom of two young adults. She's the creator of Sacred Belly Dance, and she's going to tell us a lot more about this along our interview. She's originally from the UK, but since 2006, she's been traveling. She's been in Asia, she's been in India, she's been in Bulgaria, she's been living different places in Asia, and she's currently in Egypt. So her main type of dance specialization, and we'll learn more along the way, is Indian and Egyptian. So welcome, Katie, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Please tell us more. Who's Katie Holland and what's her passion?
Okay. This is a really difficult question because
I know.
I've been thinking about it the last few days. I feel it's like this idea of polarity. You know, it's like when you know yourself so well, you begin to not know yourself because because you have the freedom. You know yourself so well, so you know your quirks and your strangeness and your shadow, your light, and you know how to play with it. And since I was 15, I dedicated myself to really knowing myself and understanding myself. And there came a point where it was like, okay, I have myself in these boxes and other people have me in boxes. And actually, I don't need to be in any of them. And why should I be? So I can be whoever I want in any moment. And this might change and I can surprise myself, you know, in like 5 seconds, I can be like, yeah, this is the way I am. This is the way I think, because something has evolved in me in that moment, mostly because I've discovered something new or I've got some new information. So for me, it's Katie Holland is somebody evolving very fluidly, and and still understanding myself and working really hard to do that, and not to be any kind of fixed judgment of me.
That's very pretty that you say that. That's me thinking when I watch videos of you dancing, it's like mesmerizing, all the movement. And really, ladies, we're gonna put some links here at the text of YouTube, so you can see her dancing, and she's all movement, and it's so beautiful. So it's a good expression, possibly, of who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I think physical expression is the way that I find it most easy to express who I am. And again, this can be in different variations. So whether I'm performing and it's a very emotional dance, or it's a very cheeky dance, or if it's more like the sacred dance side. And again, whether I'm performing or I'm teaching. And this brings out different aspects of me. And so sometimes I can look at myself and I don't even recognize me, or if I come out of a process with a group, especially if we're doing trainings, and I look in the mirror maybe the next morning and I'm like, who are you? It's like, who is this person now? Like everything has shifted and changed, and I have to get to know her again. And yeah, I guess, as you're saying, like, what are my passions then? Because what I do is so focused on this physical self. So a big part of my passion has had to be me, whether it was taking care of my body because of performing, or my mental health, or just everything. So I really had to make my ultimate passion myself, because
I think everyone should do that, you know, just make themselves their own passion. I think we always should go first. So you mentioned it about dancing and sacred dancing. So what's the difference?
For me, if I'm focused more, say, on technique, choreography, improvisation, and I'm on stage, the focus is more aesthetic. It's about the makeup, the costume, the entertainment. It's like you're there to give something, show something to the audience, and there's this exchange of energy still when you're performing. But it's very much about what's happening, because I could have been crying 10 minutes earlier backstage about something, but I have to go on stage with a smile and, you know, I'm here and you're the show. For the sacred dance, it's much more internal. So it doesn't matter about how it looks. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. It's completely about what's happening on the inside, what's moving within you and what's moving you. So you could call it the yin and yang, really, of yourself.
Okay. So how did you, because you created sacred belly dancing. So tell us.
Belly dance. Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about it. It's like, okay, it's sacred, which means it's your expression, like you told us, and then obviously belly dancing. But what's the concept of what you do, like more specifically?
Okay. So again, this is taking the emphasis away from the aesthetic and going within, and working mostly with belly dance movements, which are from the Middle East, and I've specialized in studying Egyptian style belly dance or Oriental dance. And these movements relate to sacred geometry within the body. So you can create energy, you can bring energy in, you can release energy, and in the form of emotions or physical kind of feelings. And it's very much about becoming the truth of who you are. So letting go of the masks of who you think you should be in society or who others think you should be, and really getting back to yourself and to your sovereign self, so that you are completely in your power, but within that you're also completely embodied. And so it's not about playing with energy and or we're in the stars and whatever. This is really like, I'm being in my body, I'm owning my body, and this body is very sacred to me, and I chose to come into this body for a reason, so I might as well dance with it to the full capability that I can do, and feel everything that is possible to feel through this body. So kind of in a nutshell, that's what we do. Yeah.
So you do performing professionally, and especially on this Egyptian and Indian dance, and you also teach.
Yeah.
So you teach ladies to kind of work with their bodies.
Yeah, and I teach women and men.
Men?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, the majority are women, but men do come as well. And yeah, so it depends which aspect they're coming for, because there's as I said, there's the technique and the choreography side, which is more specific, you could say. And then there's the more therapy side, where we're coming from a different perspective and more into the emotional side of it.
Okay.
So I can teach from both. If people want to be, you know, like learn how to understand Arabic music or Indian music and know how to move their body from a technical point of view, I can work from that. If they want to go deeper into themselves and the understanding of themselves and to free themselves from themselves, then I can also offer that.
Okay. So would that be because obviously you are also a holistic therapist and you use dance to do that therapy, or how do you work with people? Is it through the movement that, like you said, you help them, you know, free themselves from themselves, or just work other aspects? So how would you just work with people that need therapy somehow, through dance, through movement?
It's a combination of everything, because all of that is within me. So in the space that I'm holding for somebody or for a group, everything is coming through. It's not something that I'm controlling and saying, okay, it's this or it's this or it's this. Yeah. It's very fluid and intuitive and spontaneous. So when I'm working with awake and belly dance, I'm drawing on every aspect of me, and this is from modalities that I've trained in, dances I've trained in. It's from my life experience. It's from my experience as a teacher. I've been teaching now for 24 years. Okay. So and all around the world, and different cultures, different nationalities. So yeah, I'm drawing on everything, and I'm really being present and tuning in to the person or the people that I'm working with, and into their energy, so that I'm following the energy. It's not a mental thing. It's a very feminine and very yeah, it's very intuitive, completely intuitive.
Sounds beautiful. Really, I'm just gonna tell you my, I would say, frustrated experience with belly dancing, because okay. I've tried a few times, and one was like really in the past, I can't remember, maybe 20 years ago. I enrolled in this civic center, you know, near where I lived, and I really loved it, you know. And then winter came, and was like a place that the floor was concrete, and I was freezing, so I couldn't really enjoy. So I quit, and I thought, like, there'll be another time. And just last year, I thought, now is the time. And I did again, another civic center. And when I was going to enroll, I asked the lady at reception, said, so how's your floor? And she went like, oh, she's loony. Said, yeah, well, you know, because winter will come, and I want to be able to continue dancing.
It's terrible.
No, it's a good floor, don't worry. I was like, fine, we're going to be fine. So I check out the teacher. She happens to be very good, very friendly. So I go to the classes, and I just loved it, because like you say about freeing yourself, you know how we're very self-concerned about, oh, I have a little roll in here, a little roll in there, you know, I just will wear a top that covers everything. And suddenly I go there, I'll gear up, you know, cover everywhere because I have my little roll. And I see all these women that had done belly dancing before with all the handkerchiefs, with the things hanging, and all the rolls everywhere just moving. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of the thinnest here, and I'm the most concerned. So I decided to get myself also like handkerchief and all that. And I don't know if you call them handkerchiefs, or like the
hip scarf.
Yeah, and I let my belly be out there, and I was so happy, you know. I never mastered the shimmy, but I was doing my best. And then they closed because of the pandemic.
Oh no.
And then they said, we'll do it online. And I tried to follow, but I kind of missed. I needed to be there to really let myself go. And so I guess next time I'll have to be with you. I'll have to fly to Egypt and just stay there until I can do the shimmy. So they say third time is the lucky one, right? So maybe, but I've tried because, and I loved it because I was like, oh, you know, move and everything. And I like my belly. I said, since I've got a belly, I might as well move it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the beauty, whether it's from the therapy side or from the kind of technique, like the social, because belly dance is such a social activity. And it's so beautiful because you can go to class, you can dress up, you can, you can have your belly out, and there's not this kind of judgment or shame about the body. It's very much about celebrating your curves and really like use them to their full potential, because the movements are so suited to the female body because they utilize every curve that we have. And it's definitely not about hiding your curves.
So I think that also matches very much with, you know, everything we do at Grace of Noise, that we'll talk very soon. But really, I found it exactly like freeing, because I was kind of ooh, you know, a top here and up here. And then I see everyone with the belly out and just moving and just not caring. And I was like, I want to do that, you know, no one is going to judge me here. It's super pretty. And it was, but that's what I miss when they said, we'll do it online. I just miss, because I didn't know enough, I guess, to just kind of do it on my own. And, but anyway, so all this beautiful trajectory you had for 25 years, you said that you've been teaching and you've been traveling the world. So how did you manage to do all that? Just having two young kids traveling with you.
Yeah, I think one of the things, I didn't really think about it. To me, it was something very natural and normal. When I moved to India, my daughter was 3 and my son was 6. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I'm picking them up and putting them on my back and we just go. And I never expected it to turn into 9 years, which is how long we lived in India. It was a very crazy and intense adventure. And sure. Yeah, and it was really because of the training that I had in the holistic therapies and in dance. I had trained in these things not only because I was really interested in them, but because I wanted to have skills that I could take anywhere. So again, coming back to like, okay, it's me that's the product, if you like. So anywhere that I go, I can offer this. I didn't need to rely on anything. And I thought about this when I was about 12. It was very, very specific, and I knew that I would leave England as soon as possible. And so when I left, I was 27, 26, okay. And yeah, and with the kids, and I had this kind of crazy, like something out of a film, like a events manager saw me dancing around on the beach one sunset with some drummers and offered me to come and dance at a wedding. And little did I know what world was opening up for me, and it just went boom. Wow. And yeah, it was quite a surprise. And then I was performing for like all the Bollywood celebrities, for the like top corporates, for all the socialites, for the weddings, like yeah, you name it, I've danced for them. So it took me all over India and into all kinds of venues, from like being on a houseboat doing a performance, to an ice palace in the Himalayas, to palaces in Rajasthan, to like for royalty, and all kinds of things that you couldn't even imagine it. And the opulence as well. Yeah, it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And I was very much in this kind of showbiz world life, but also fighting it a lot, because it wasn't entirely comfortable for me to be in this. For me, it was about the dance. I want to dance and I want to perform, and that was it. And I wasn't ever interested about this kind of being on an ego trip or anything like that. So a big part of why I was studying classical Indian dance and Osho dynamic meditation and Sufi whirling and the Gurdjieff dances, that was all when I was living in India. It was, again, to get this yin and yang, to get the balance, because it was like there was so much shadow in the entertainment world, and I was under so much pressure that I needed this lightness to keep my sanity and to save myself, and to keep myself on a light path, because there's a lot of temptation in that world. And that's probably stories for another day. But yeah, but I was very, very clear about what I wanted and who I wanted to be, and what I was prepared to do and what I was not prepared to do. So these sacred dances really kind of kept me on the path that I needed to be on, for my own health and well-being.
So could that be one of the reasons that you wanted to kind of detach a bit from your ego, growing into all this entertainment world, and the pressure that you decided to take the traditional Rumi dance?
Yeah, it was,
because that's basically for men, right? So how was it for you to be trained in traditional Rumi when you were a woman?
This was more recently. It was just at the end of last year, about a year ago. In India, it was more from the 𝘒𝘃𝘃 perspective. So it was more of a freestyle kind of whirling, and so where it's not so much focus on the technique. But last year I was really lucky when I went to Turkey before coming to Egypt, and a whole series of synchronistic events happened, and which have always happened. Any of the teachers that I've had that are connected with the sacred dance side, it's always been very magical. And with this teacher, and he's a sheikh, I had dreamed of him in the months before and had visions of him when I was whirling, and he had also had similar. So when we met each other, there was a recognition already, and I asked if he could teach me, and it took him about 2 weeks to decide, because he hadn't taught a woman before, and because his English isn't very strong, so somebody else would interpret sometimes. I think in his lineage, and this goes back to Rumi, I'm not sure if any of the women have been taught to date, but for sure by him, I'm the first woman. So it was a really huge thing, and as the time went on, because I was with him every day for 6 weeks, and I was training in a cave underground, and and in a place that they perform. So he has a group of men and musicians, and they perform there, or they hold ceremonies for tourists to watch. So the energy is so heightened, it's so amazing. And so this was my training space, and it was one of, I don't even know how to put it into words, really. The love that he showed for me and what he shared, it's something that is so rare, and that there's not many people that will share so openly with you. And it was, I don't even know how to say. It was a gift. He's really given me a gift.
Extraordinary.
And there were two things that really made me laugh. One was that he measured me for a whirling outfit, the whole white outfit and everything, and he had to send to the tailors in Konya, which is where Rumi died, and where the festival of Rumi is each year. So there's these specialist tailors there. So he sent my measurements to them, but didn't say that I'm a woman. So there's this kind of jacket, like crossover overcoat, but because my boobs are quite big, when I got it back, it's more like this. And he said, we can't tell them, you have to get a white vest, because they wouldn't have made it for me. So and then the other thing, because he showed me the rituals, not only the whirling, the rituals for the entrance. And if you watch dervishes, you'll see that they do this very particular entrance and exits. And he hadn't told the guys who perform with him, he hadn't told them he was teaching me either. So they had a performance maybe 2 or 3 weeks into my training, and I got there early as well to watch. And then he said, okay, he told them all get in line, and then he called me from the corner and said, get in the line behind them, because you're in the order of the most experienced. So obviously I was the baby, and these guys, they're like this, and they just went like looking behind, like, what the? And I was stood there like, oh God. And he's like, come do it. And so I went through this whole ritual ceremony with them, and it's like the first time for them as well. And they were so lovely and questioning me and saying, right, show us how you turn. And they were really, really supportive. And especially when I told them about all the various pains and aches I was having, and they thought that was funny and said, oh, this is normal, give it 20 years. And your legs will stop hurting.
So you, as a very experienced dancer that you do this all the time, you just felt like sore or pain, or because it was different movements, or?
Yeah, there's such a focus on your left leg, and and with your knee and your ankle, and also because this is such a transformative dance, everything in you is fighting. So it's like I was vomiting, I was hallucinating, I had fever, I was falling on the floor. I mean, I was getting angry. It's like everything, because often I had to have a 𝘒𝘂𝘃𝗵𝘁 to practice, and I was just holding this for hours. And I wanted to throw it across the room, and and he was so patient, and he'd just look at me and again, and I was like, ah. And so yeah, it's like a battle, and I've experienced this self-battle in many kinds of studies and things, but this was it was like the next level of me, and how far I could push myself, and how much discipline I could have with it, and if I was going to continue. And there was a point where I was vomiting a lot, and he said to me, this is usually the point that people give up. It was probably 2.5 weeks in. He said, yeah, usually people now, it's enough. And I said, I'll be here tomorrow, and and carry.
So Katie, okay, so obviously you are other than performer, dancer, therapist, one of our beautiful ambassadors at Grace of No Age. And why did you decide to join us? What was it that made you fall in love with the project, or not, or you thought that was interesting? What was it that motivated you to say, yes, I want to do this?
Well, obviously a huge part was you, and the connection that I felt from when we met in Bali, and and feeling your passion and the energy behind it. It was really, really inspiring, and I thought, wow, I would really love to be part of this, and also because women come to me for awakened belly dance of all kinds of ages, and a lot of people have come where they've gone through the menopause, and then they've done awakened belly dance and they've started to bleed again. And this has been sometimes maybe 5-8 years they haven't bled. And so at first I didn't have any experience of this, so I had to really learn on the go, and it started to happen more and more, not with everybody, but it's happened quite a few times now, and realizing that it was almost like their bodies were having this final clear out, or this final release, and how I could support them in that, because they were often very shocked that it's happening. And so I'm really interested to work more with women who are sort of pre and post menopause, and to support them on their journey. And because, as you know, menopause holds so much, there's so much illusion around it, and there's so much that's hidden about it as well. Yes. And how women can feel like they're hidden from society when they go through this. And as I said earlier, awakened belly dance is really about stepping into your truth and your sovereignty, and really being in your body and owning your body. So for me to be able to support women in this is really a privilege for me, because also the other aspect is I'm not in the menopause yet. So I'm very interested to learn from women and from the other goddesses of about their experiences, and so that I can be more prepared and more educated for my own journey.
And that's one of our main focus as well. We want women to learn before they get there. So by the time they get there, they're prepared. and they know what's happening, why they are feeling the changes, you know, whether this is right or it's wrong, because some women don't know anything about it, and then they think it's something else. They don't associate it with the fact that the hormones are changing. And like you said, there's a lot of taboo, and that was one of the main things that inspired me to get into it, and to, for starters, because I didn't know the first thing about it, and I thought that it would be good to learn and to kind of get there prepared, and to take a bunch of beautiful ladies into a journey with me, and also just kind of inspire women out there that are looking for someone to teach them or to inspire them, and to tell them that it's okay. And I think this part of the physical body that you are talking about, it's amazing, because one of the main things is that women feel, oh, you know, I don't like my body anymore, look at this, and, you know, I'm just gonna cover, I'm not sexy anymore. And what you do, I think it's really, really inspiring and freeing, again, using that word, because it's like, this is me. If you don't like it, it's too bad, you know. And
yeah. And what's more,
I was reading the other day this one of these ladies on Instagram, and she said, and I don't have the body that I had when I was 20, basically because I'm not 20. So I thought, like, I had to laugh. It's like, yes. So I think we're really honored to have you on board. And I have a question. With all these amazing experiences that, you know, I'm still thinking of the ice palace in the Himalayas and you dancing like gorgeous in there. Are you thinking about writing a book?
Yeah, this is definitely in the pipeline, and I've got as far now as writing a list of my ideas of the chapters, and the first few paragraphs. And the reason I haven't done it before, because people have been asking me for years, like when I lived in India, and saying, oh, just will you write about your experiences with performing? But I always felt like, oh, there's more. And then when I'd been in India for about a year, I had a really big and spontaneous Kundalini explosion. And this was really what kick-started me with Awaken Belly Dance, because I got this very clear message that you have to create this dance therapy, and if you don't do it, you're going to die. It was really like, that's all the information that I got. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, I'm in this very diva kind of world, and how do I get from there to there? Like, what on earth am I meant to do? And this was really another beginning, like a deeper beginning of my journey with this. And it took me 8 years to really formulate it and birth Awaken Belly Dance. And so it's been always something that's evolving, and in the last year I finally feel that, okay, the book is ready, and or it's within me and ready to come out. So now I just have to be disciplined and and write it. And still more things happened last month. We had an Awaken Belly Dance training, and more things happened within that, and I thought, this can go in the book, this can go in the book. So it's almost like something that, there might have to be 20 books, I don't know.
I was going to say, it's going to have to be like 700 or like 20 books. Well, I definitely cannot wait to read it, that's for sure, and we'll have it on our online shop, and so our audience can also have it. So Katie, just to wrap up the conversation a bit, where can people find you if they want to learn from you, if they want to train in your dance techniques and therapy with you? Where can they find you?
So the website is awakenedbellydance.com, and people can email me through there. And I offer online sessions and of various things, from distance Reiki to access clearings. to awaken belly dance, inner dance, and then everything in person as well. And obviously before COVID, I was traveling all the time. I was teaching trainings and immersions and things. So last year I had to develop things in a slightly different way so I could offer it online. There's also a YouTube channel, Awaken Belly Dance, and there's lots of interviews on there and also some sessions as well, so people can try it out. There's a Facebook group, Awaken Belly Dance Sisters, which is a community group, and we offer free courses as well through the year. So if people email me, I've got a mailing list and I'll send information out about different things that I'm doing. And then the next training for Awaken Belly Dance and for Inner Dance is planned for spring next year. So I'm just finalizing about both of those for the venues. And
that's got to be like in person, or?
Yeah, they'll be in person and in Egypt.
In Egypt, okay.
Yeah.
Just sign me in. If I can travel, I'll be there. Yes. And that's gonna be the good one, because the time I should find that video where we're dancing, and I saw that video and was like, oh man, I'm so terrible dancing.
No.
Okay, Katie, so just to finalize with a nice ending, what would you say to your younger self, and what from your experience, so it's a double question, what could you tell to the women or the men watching us now, and that they are maybe transitioning to this period of perimenopause, menopause, feeling possibly uncomfortable or weird inside their own body? What would you recommend them or suggest them?
Okay, so for me, to my younger self, I would say, don't give yourself such a hard time. And definitely, yeah, be easier on yourself and more nurturing to yourself. Yeah, this is for sure. And that everything will be okay. No.
That's a very Indian thing, right? It's like, it's not okay, it's like not finished yet, everything's gonna be okay. I love that.
Yeah, it's like you might feel like the world is about to end and you're gonna like end with it, but it's always gonna be okay.
It's true.
Yeah. Maybe not in the way that you think though. So to trust that. And then for people, whatever it is that they're going through, I would say to really open a communication with your body. So this could be really simple when you wake up in the morning and you put your hands on your body and breathe and, hello body, how do you feel today? What is it? What is it that, how can I nourish you for breakfast? You know, like really listening and letting your body guide you, so that there's more of an integration, rather than treating your body like a robot. And this is definitely another lesson for my younger self. With the kindness.
That's what I thought that we could find, you know,
yeah.
would say to your younger self now, because you're just going through another period. And but I love the concept of trust the process, everything is going to be all right. I think it's very beautiful, because we tend to think that if we cannot do this, do that, or look like this, like that, it's going to be the end of the world. And my experience as well is like and I just learned that in India, even though I was only there 3 months. So that's how intense the experience was. It was like crying. I said, okay, it's fine. Everything's going to be all right. I'm hungry, but everything's going to be all right.
Yeah, because it's
true,
like, because we're really conditioned to control. It's like to control ourselves, control our body. It should be doing this, or it should look like this. Control everything in our life, and then at the same time we're being controlled, and this control has to stop. This is Very important.
Everything that doesn't go the way that we plan, I used to get frustrated because I'm still a bit of a control freak, I'll admit to that, but I'm relaxing quite little by little. 1 year in Bali really helped me kind of let go.
Yeah.
But now it's more like something goes wrong, I'll go like, okay, let's see what happens, what I can get out of this that's different. So I learned to look at it from a different perspective, and usually there's an outcome that's kind of nice that couldn't have happened if things had gone like the way I could have expected. So
yeah. And I think half of it is knowing when you are going into those patterns of control, because when you recognize it, it's like you're halfway to kind of befriending it and working with it in a positive way instead of letting it dominate you.
Beautiful. I think it's a perfect way to end this very interesting chat. I would talk to you for hours about the astrology. I just got obsessed with that. I'm gonna call you later. You've got to tell me. And so thank you very much again. Thank you to our audience as well for trusting us again with another podcast. And please follow us in YouTube, follow us at our page, and you'll find Katie Holland there as well in our ambassadors page. You'll be able to read her beautiful articles. You'll find her YouTube channel, so you might be able to engage to all the opportunities to work with her that she offers. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon. Namaste.
Namaste.